Now, this is via streamable. Netflix, for a time this week, moved forward with their plan to stop password sharing.
Yeah.
Now, as we know, they feel like that there's an estimated 100 million Netflix users worldwide that are not using their own logins to watch Netflix. They're password sharing. They went to an Airbnb and they forgot to sign out, which I've done.
Maybe there's some kids at college. Using their parents' login.
Disgusting. I just want to say that's disgusting.
Maybe you're in a relationship with someone and you gave them the login and then you broke up and they haven't changed it. You've always thought about changing it, but you're waiting for the perfect time to get them.
Exactly.
You know? Like you see that there's a new season of their favorite show about to come out on Netflix and you're like, now's the perfect time.
You season 4, not for you.
That's right.
Absolutely, yeah. So their idea was initially that you have to be on the same Wi-Fi if you want to log into the same account or your account will be blocked. Now, Netflix accounts, they can still be shareable again, but it has to be within one household. And to ensure that your device is associated with the primary location, Netflix is now asking users to connect to the Wi-Fi, the primary location, open up the Netflix app or website and watch something at least every 31 days. Now, you might ask, how does that apply if you go literally anywhere else? What if you're on the train or whatever and you want to watch it on your phone
What if you're on the toilet?
What if you're on the toilet?
But you have such a expansive estate that the toilet, it's such an old building that the toilet is an outhouse and it's 1 mile from your estate.
You've got 2 IP addresses while you're doing a big IP. Mason, thank you. But what if you?
Yes.
So what they said is, well, if you want to use, say, Netflix, for example, in a hotel TV or a company laptop or whatever, you can then request a temporary code from the service when signing in, and that will give you access to the account for 7 consecutive days. Now, after this was all ruled out, by the way, fucking hate this.
Terrible.
Sounds like work, too many steps. They should learn a lesson from Blockbuster, the company that they killed, with outdated practices.
And Blockbuster should have learned a lesson from all the local video stores that they killed, which is there's always someone bigger, but they didn't.
There's always someone ready to kill you.
That's right. And all those local video stores should have learned a lesson from me, a guy who rented videos, which is I'm never going to rewind those tapes. So stop asking, all right?
Exactly. But anyway, so all this happened.
Yeah.
And then, as of, I think it was around Wednesday, they put out a statement that said, actually, for a brief time yesterday, I helped send an article containing information that is this was actually only applicable in Chile, Costa Rica, and Peru. So that went live to all countries. And that's actually a mistake. This is in a statement via Streamable. So if you're in like the US, UK, Australia, Canada, other places in the world that aren't those 3 I mentioned, then this was actually a mistake.
It was a mistake and a joke, actually.
Yeah, you took this the wrong way.
We pranked you, actually. We're lighthearted and known for our pranks over at Netflix. Also, and you just as you were saying before, it's an extra step.
Yeah.
And
it's just encouraging piracy, because piracy is an extra step
Piracy is an extra step. Netflix, and as has been pointed out this week numerous times, Netflix somehow does, the top brass at Netflix are somehow not aware that the only reason a lot of people use Netflix is it is slightly easier than pirating.
Yep.
And if
they don't even like it.
As soon as it isn't, the people will stop using it.
Yeah.
So what were they thinking here? Was Justice Smith, the actor who's worked for Netflix before, said, I think
he's in some of the Jurassic World movies.
Yes, he is.
Detective Pikachu, etc.
Detective Pikachu, yeah. And the upcoming Dungeons and Dragons.
Dungeons and Dragons.
But he said, okay, well, what if I get another job at Netflix and I have to go touring for 2 months? Do I lose access to my Netflix?
Yep.
Unless he gets that secret code.
He might get the secret code, yeah. So anyway, if they roll this out, I hope this kills Netflix.
Yes.
Just as a lesson to everybody, you know? Just be like, this is what will happen to you. Because quite frankly also, Netflix isn't good enough for this.
Yeah.
If it was a better service. And also, other services, they do have measures in place. But they also did that from the get-go. They didn't pride themselves on sharing passwords. And I didn't even have a problem with, like, if you've got multiple accounts, different locations, maybe you pay a little bit extra.
Sure, right.
They also jacked the price up a few years ago for this reason, because people were password sharing.
Yeah.
So they went, this is good. This is why we're increasing the price.
So it's either...
So you're going to bring it down again?
You're going to bring it down again if we're ruling out password sharing. Interesting. No, but absolutely right. Yeah, bad times all around. But they were just joking and kidding, so it's fine.
Yeah, it was a joke. And you fell for it.
Absolutely fell. And again, it's that thing of like, okay, and there's a, where I'm like, okay, well, I don't often use Netflix on my phone.
Yeah.
So does that mean that once a month I have to log into Netflix on my phone and watch a TV show for a second? That seems annoying. Or you'll ban my phone. Come on.
Yeah.
But you're right. Like, and the last thing I watched, I think, on Netflix was Glass Onion, and that was
Yeah.
weeks ago.
I didn't because I saw it at the movies.
Yeah, well,
but-
yeah. Well, that's the thing. And if I hadn't, etc.
If you hadn't, you know.
If you hadn't, you know.
If you haven't, then you know.
You know.
You know.
I was going to say if I hadn't seen it at the, I would have watched it. I watched it at the movies. Then I watched it at Netflix.
Yeah.
But having seen it at the movies, I didn't have to watch it on Netflix. But that's not the point.
Yeah.
The point is that's the only thing I've watched on Netflix in the last month. So
I think it's also like it was probably initially to appease investors. It looks good for their stock. Well, they thought it would look good for their stock.
Yeah, right.
Like it might like increase the price of the stock because they're like, oh, this is a good way to make revenue, etc.
I'm logging into Netflix right now.
Yeah.
Ooh, Appleseed Plus or something. Appleseed Alpha. I remember that anime from back in the day, and you also would remember that from
Yeah,
back
well,
in
I'm the
day.
biggest fan of anime.
Yeah.
Everybody who knows me knows that.
That's true.
Mason, should we move to the next bit of news, which
I
is
think
also
so, yeah.
Netflix related?
Oh, yeah, of course.
This is via Variety. Now, as I mentioned up top, Mason, it's a fun little joke that I did. I said the real-life Squid Games that Netflix are currently filming or have been filming in the UK is actually turning into a real-life Squid Games.
Oh, no.
So what's happened is they're basically, if you haven't heard, they're doing a Mr. Beast-style what if Squid Games was real, right?
Mr. Beast, no. There should be a guy on his team, and his catchphrase is Mr. Beast, no.
Yeah.
And I'll happily do that for $10,000 a week.
That's really good.
It's very reasonable, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah. That's $120,000 a year,
Pretty
Mason.
good, right?
Australian?
No, American.
Okay, fair enough.
After tax.
We do have a question about Mr. Beast in his latest video, which we'll talk about at the very back end of the show.
Sure.
But basically, so it's been a disaster. It's turned into a real life Squid Games, Mason. So basically, one of the segments they were filming is red light, green light. For those of you who don't know, it's basically what's the time, Mr. Wolf? You turn around, and if they see you moving, but it's a robot instead of a wolf, you get shot.
You're explaining this so badly.
That's exactly what it is, Mason. What's the time, Mr.
But
Wolf?
if it is, you know.
That's right. Anyway, everybody saw it.
Yeah.
So the idea is that they were filming that first segment in it, and there was something like 456 contestants involved in this. Like
Because that is
in
the classic
show.
Squid Game number, yes.
Exactly. The winning prize was like £4 million or whatever. So as the game
£4 million?
Yeah.
Huh.
I know, not Australian. So as the filming got underway, like everybody was excited because, you get the opportunity to win money. The problem was also that people were excited to do this.
Are you explaining the concept of a game show?
Yeah, no, but listen.
Some people are excited because of the money.
No, but so they were encouraged and they were
right.
followed up and everybody was screened and they had like influencers coming in who apparently they're also favoured, so they seem to eliminate people just like on a whim because it's like you want to get Johnny fucking film himself.
It's interesting because obviously Squid Game, the TV show, the narratively interesting characters get through, but realistically, maybe in red light, green light, everybody loses.
Yep.
Like maybe everybody gets caught on the red light and you go, well, do we start again or whatever?
Yeah.
Like there's no...
Well, that's exactly. So as it got underway, the atmosphere changed. So coats were taken away. Hand and foot warmers were scooped out of pockets and players' jackets had to remain unzipped. So this was in order to display the numbers as well as the fake blood that would squirt from devices strapped to their chest if they were eliminated. So if you remember the show, they were like machine gunned if they moved. So they wanted to bring that element in.
Sure.
And
somebody said, can we actually machine gun them? No. Interesting.
Well, we're going to. So when the show's giant killer doll stopped singing, they had to freeze in position. But what began as a promised 2-minute wait was then bumped to like 10 to 15 minutes of staying still, sometimes even longer. The other thing is nobody had their watches or phones, so nobody has a sense of time in this. This was supposed to be a 2-hour game.
So you had to potentially stand still for 15 minutes.
No, Mason, this took 11 hours to film.
That's too long.
That's one segment, by the way. So it was also supposed to be a 2-hour filming. But again, I guess they wanted to get every possible angle on it, and they said they wanted to confirm results. But apparently people were losing feeling in their feet because it was this like unprecedented cold snap. What's that about? It's probably nothing.
This is in the UK, it
yes,
seems. Okay,
0 degrees Celsius. And it was also afterwards the people who got through were taken to accommodation or whatever, but they weren't fed properly.
Should have gone to Greg's.
I agree. One person woke up and there was like a cold Big Mac on the floor outside their room, and they were like,
Should
this
have
is
gone
for
to
you.
Greg's.
Should have gone to Greg's. And also, of the 456 contestants, none of them got paid or have been getting paid. So this is happening, and let's watch it.
Great,
Let's watch it, Mason.
Let's watch it. Why not? Yeah, that sounds like... Because they're
seems excessive, don't you think?
Well, what seems to happen here is they've taken all the worst aspects of reality TV and also game show TV because it's like, okay, well, we need to get proper coverage of this, so let's have everybody stand still for 15 minutes.
Yep.
It's not how these games work.
No, not
so
at all.
That's going to be...
That's going to be, I mean, would that be a whole episode? Just that red light, green light?
Oh, maybe, right.
Because one of the things about the Mr. Beast video is like it's pretty tightly edited. So it's not like an hour of red light, green light, which is not interesting. But I don't know. What a disaster. And it looks like nobody learned anything from the Squidler game, the other Squid Game show,
right.
or the Mr. Beast Squid Game that he already made and did. Yeah.